He has three options at this moment to make a throw, and instead he continues to roll out, which is fine. But even at this moment, as he starts to signal Terry McLaurin to go deep already, like he's already deep, but to go further, you have two options: Curtis Samuel and Cam Sims. And because Trayvon Diggs is able to see it, as you saw, he jumped, right? He jumped. Everybody's covered. Trayvon Diggs has good eyes to quarterback. He also identifies the crosser. He's going to bail on Terry, trust that his safety takes Terry, and picks up Terry and whoever the other deep man, which is Cam Sims, and he's going to take the tight end. Everybody's covered. What it seems to be, he tried to attempt it to throw to Ricky Seals, and obviously almost gets intercepted. The point of bringing this up, this is another indicator of understanding when a play is over. Sometimes you don't have to keep a play in bounds because ultimately you'll end up making a mistake, and these type of mistakes ultimately get you benched. Just throw the ball away. Terry McLaurin is streaking up the sideline already. What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. I am Jamal, your host of the Trap or Die podcast, and I'm back again this week to have a breakdown of Taylor Heinicke's performance, this time obviously against the Dallas Cowboys. If you did miss my previous breakdowns on Heinicke, or even want to catch up with the all-season posts to see where those players are right now and how they're progressing, go ahead and check out my Watching Football Film playlist to catch up on all those things. But let's go ahead and turn to Taylor Heinicke's performance against the Dallas Cowboys, and let's start with the matter of facts here. Let's go ahead right out and say it. It was Taylor Heinicke's worst performance as a Washington Football Team quarterback, and given the performances that he's had against the Saints, the Bills, the Chiefs, the Broncos, that's saying something. Taylor finished today 11 of 25, 122 yards, 4 sacks, 1 touchdown, and 2 turnovers before being knocked out of the game due to injury. And the Cowboys defense was relentless all day, creating pressure on quarterbacks Kyle Allen and Taylor Heinicke, shutting down the run, and pretty sound coverage for the most part. Even with that being said, there were still opportunities for Washington's offense, and Heinicke in particular as well. He just missed on them. And whether it was a terrible decision to throw in the coverage or poor throw overall, he was as inconsistent as it gets at the quarterback position. And I personally think he should have got benched at halftime. But that's what this film session is for. We're highlighting those missed opportunities, those mistakes, and indicating what he can do better to improve his situation in the future. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get to the film, man, and see what we saw against the Dallas Cowboys from Taylor Heinicke. While many contributed the injury to Taylor Heinicke, which could have been avoided if he didn't throw it. It's just unfortunate that Terry got hurt on this play. So let's just go ahead and take a look at it and just highlight the fact that he should have never threw the ball to begin with. So for me, the key thing here is just understanding the opportunities that he had prior to looking Terry McLaurin's way, and understanding that he had 4 options, 4 options that he should have had or should have taken before thinking about Terry McLaurin. And we're going to go ahead and start it in. For me, what it seemed when I looked at this, it seemed to be some sort of variation of a cover 2 defense. But even still, on a 3rd and 5 look, by the way, you only need 5 yards. And right at this very moment, at the top of his drop, he has one person wide open right here in John Bates. And at this moment, I don't know if he doesn't trust anything that he sees right now, but that is unfortunate. But clearly he bails out because he felt or sensed some pressure. But at this moment as well, you have 3 options in front of you that you can have for a first down. You have Curtis Samuel that's on the sideline. John Bates, if you lead him inside with an inside throw, he can turn around and get upfield. And then you have Cam Sims on the back, who I think ran like a deep corner. Let's go ahead and run it back to make sure I saw it correctly. Yeah. I said a deep corner, but a deep dig route. That when he breaks, he's wide open right here as well. So Taylor Heinicke has 3 options at this moment to make a throw. And instead he continues to roll out, which is fine. But even at this moment, as he starts to signal Terry McLaurin to go deep already, like he's already deep, but to go further, you have two options: Curtis Samuel and Cam Sims. And when I mentioned four options to begin with, the last option, at the very least, that you have as he continues to scramble is the sideline. He could have kept scrambling, got the first down, used Curtis Samuel as a run blocker to seal the edge and get a first down conversion. Though Curtis Samuel probably would have been pissed, because I would be pissed too as a receiver who's wide open and has nothing but room in front of him to try and gain a first down and even more. So that's the play that Terry McLaurin ends up ultimately getting hurt on, because the ball is underthrown. He gets undercut, obviously lands on his head, boom, gets knocked out. And it's unfortunate, but as you can see there, we'll run it back full force. As the play develops, he senses some pressure, rolls out, which is fine. But then you have four options. You have Cam, John, Curtis, in a scramble. And unfortunately, at this point, when you're down 24-0, Taylor Heinicke decides to press. And even though you're down 24-0, it's the beginning of the third quarter, and you have plenty of time to come back, so long as you make perfect decisions. And this is one of those decisions where on 3rd and 5, you don't have to do. And for those who would like to argue about the decision that he's made and why are we criticizing that because you're down 24-0, well, guess what? Another indicator that he shouldn't have done it is the fact that they punted the ball right after this play. If they were really pressing and felt like they had no time to come back on 4th and 5, you would go for it that early in the third quarter. With about 12 to 11 minutes left, you would go for it. There was no time to press, and it was unfortunate, man, because Terry gets hurt on a play that should have never went to him, regardless of how deep he was behind the cornerbacks in secondary. You don't have that arm. You need to take what's given, and obviously Taylor Heinicke failed in that instance. What's going on, y'all? This is Jamal, and this is just your reminder that you can catch each and every live stream episode of the Trap or Die podcast Tuesday through Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern live on my Twitch channel. The link is in the description. And if you miss any episodes, you can catch the video on demand on my Twitch channel that takes you to each and every episode that you may have missed. With that being said, make sure you like, subscribe to my YouTube channel, where we post clips of the show, clips of interviews, interesting conversations, game analysis, film breakdowns, but also where we live stream our instant game analysis from each and every Washington football game immediately after the game is over. With that being said, I'm out of here. Y'all be safe, and I'll catch you next time. Another situation in which Heinicke decided to press is, it's throughout the entire game, right? But another situation where Heinicke decided to press when he really didn't need to is a 2nd and 8 situation in the game, early second quarter, I believe. And truth be told, when it's this early in the game, again, understanding when to be selectively aggressive. I've said this before, so I know I haven't mentioned it yet today, but understanding when to be selectively aggressive. That is my theme with Taylor Heinicke and even Ryan Fitzpatrick prior to his injury. You have to know when to take shots, but you also have to know, as a quarterback who's in the spot that Heinicke is in, you have to know when a play is dead as well, right? So what you'll see here is benign in terms of the offense. It's just overall good coverage right now. And as you can see, down low, you have a crosser right here with Antonio Gibson coming out of the backfield and running an out route towards the sideline, towards the nearest sideline. And then you have John Bates running an in or crosser in front of or beyond Antonio Gibson. However, these two individuals who are in the hook coverage, they have nobody out here in this 40-yard line. So they are successful and prepared for this. They're going to go ahead and take the crosser. And obviously the cornerback sitting on the sideline, I can't see who it is because it's pretty bright. I wouldn't be able to understand that or read the jersey number. But he's right here with Terry McLaurin. So Antonio Gibson. So that's good coverage. Now you have a backside what route was this? Let's take a look. This is Ricky running just a crosser to the sideline. So you have these two sitting on the hook coverage, anything coming underneath. And this is the only person coming underneath. But then you have Trayvon Diggs, and credit to him because this was a smart move. You have Trayvon Diggs with eyes to the quarterback. He's able to see anything that's crossing underneath him or behind him. Because obviously, with Terry McLaurin going deeper and running towards the post and to the safety, your idea or the ideal play is to have this crosser be wide open. And because Trayvon Diggs is able to see it, as you saw, he jumped, right? He jumped. Everybody's covered. Trayvon Diggs has good eyes to quarterback. He also identifies the crosser. He's going to bail on Terry, trust that his safety takes Terry, and picks up Terry and whoever the other deep man, which is Cam Sims, and he's going to take the tight end. Everybody's covered. He rolls out, and instead of running out of bounds, you see that. What it seems to be, he tried to attempt it to throw to Ricky Seals, and obviously almost gets intercepted. The point of bringing this up, this is another indicator of understanding when a play is over. Sometimes you don't have to keep a play in bounds because ultimately you'll end up making a mistake, and these type of mistakes ultimately get you benched. Just throw the ball away. Just throw the ball away. So that's another play of just pressing it and understanding or not understanding when a play is dead or when to take just the underneath and understanding that you can fight and live for another down. Same thing here for Taylor Heinicke. Same thing when we talk about these opportunities for Washington and Taylor. He had these moments throughout the entirety of his game prior to getting injured. And we'll go ahead and let this one run back deep into your end zone, or deep into your territory. You can't really afford to make mistakes here. And you'll see that the idea is to have corner, and linebacker all congested right here because the idea is to have deep crosser behind these three wide open. So you have a space to throw it, but Micah Parsons is pretty talented. He sees it. So you kind of see the idea where he's going, but he sees it. Look at Trayvon Diggs breaking to the ball. Look at the safety breaking to the ball. And sometimes you got to give credit to the defensive backs itself. So he threw it to where the offensive play is supposed to have him throw it. But in reality, let's look at this again. In reality, what's the safer option? Especially knowing or anticipating that these guys are all crashing. Even Trayvon at this moment sees where Taylor is looking. So you have this guy right here crossing. Trayvon did this a few times throughout the game on Sunday, just understanding where Taylor is going through his eyes. But the safer option in this situation, and I believe this was a 3rd and long or a 2nd and long, maybe 2nd and 20, I believe. So you don't have to force it on this play. Antonio Gibson's wide open. Right here. Antonio Gibson's wide open. So, again, I understand, and we all should understand at this point, that Taylor is going within the flow of the offense where the play is supposed to take him. But he locked on to his guy and never moved off his mark. And sometimes that's a detriment. And he's shown on occasion, especially during this 4-game winning streak, that he is very much capable of processing and understanding when to look off the intended target to take the successful yards on a play. And I'll let it play out to show you all what the result was. Almost intercepted. Almost intercepted there. As we transition from a quarterback who's trying to press, trying to do too much for Washington, and I may have a clip or two more to actually circle back towards this part or this part of his game against the Dallas Cowboys. We're transitioning to now the missed opportunities based on his arm strength or just his accuracy in general. I don't want to point to his arm strength because he made this throw before. But in terms of missed opportunities for Taylor Heinicke, there was an abundance of those throughout the game as well. In the first one, we have a slot fade to Terry McLaurin. You'll see him lined up right here against Trayvon Diggs at that too. So that was a pretty good matchup, right? And you'll see on the drop back where he starts his drop. And I'll rewind it one more time. So look, as we start, he starts his drop and immediately looks to his left because he knows he's going back to Terry McLaurin. with the single high coverage right here and the safety, you don't want, and as we've shown in the first two plays, his eyes have been leading these guys wherever the ball is going. So with a single high safety, the slot fade is a perfect play call for Scott Turner. You isolate your best receiver against their best defender, and all you need to do is hold the safety. Holding him, meaning you don't want him to lean to the left at all any more than where he already is. Obviously, once the ball is thrown, he's going to get out there. But the goal, you see this 40-yard marker, he needs to have the ball at the very top of the screen right here. So that's where the ball needs to be once the ball is thrown. So he does a good job holding the safety. Everything is right at the beginning. And you see at where the ball is versus where the safety is. All he has to do is lead Terry out here because the man coverage look was executed to perfection. You had the slant route right here. Diggs had to get under his defender, his teammate, to try and keep up with Terry McLaurin. That creates a small bit of separation. And then obviously the rest of the separation comes through with Terry McLaurin's speed if the ball is accurate. So this is the result that you get. It's an underthrown pass to a Terry McLaurin guy who was actually open. And for those who are wondering if this is defensive pass interference, we'll go ahead and I'll dispute that right quick and just say that I thought it was good coverage. It was good coverage, but an underthrown ball. But the reason why, let's go ahead back to it. The reason why, let's go ahead and find it. My bad, y'all. All right, here we go. The reason why it wasn't a pass interference is because the underthrown pass allowed Diggs to turn his head around. And he ultimately made a play on the ball, almost intercepted. Terry McLaurin, as you can see, was playing defense. It's as simple as that. Again, another missed opportunity for Washington and Taylor Heinicke. This one isn't 100% directly on the quarterback's arm, right? You'll see this. You'll see this unfold and understand that there was a variety of reasons why this play failed as big as it did. And first, we start with pass protection. Pass protection was poor. Pressure was allowed, and then it goes to the wide receivers. Excuse me. The wide receiver on this. I will break down the situation as well. But the wide receivers on this stop in the middle of their route. And then the two wide receivers on the crossers, excuse me, to be clear. They stop on their route, interrupting the timing of the play. And then lastly, Taylor Heinicke drifting a little bit too far to his left, ultimately allows the blitzing defender to sack him and Michael Parsons. And he fumbles the ball. And this goes for a fumble 6 as they're already down 11-0. Approaching, well, they're already in Dallas's territory, but approaching field goal position for it at the very least. So we'll go ahead and unfold this, and you'll see another missed opportunity for Washington. Right here, everything is picked up, but Brandon Sheriff is essentially beat almost immediately, and that's unfortunate. Heinicke senses that, but if you step up right here, if you just continue to step up and trust yourself, you buy yourself some more time right there. As you can see here, both defenders beat both right offensive linemen, the right guard and the right tackle, and that creates immediate pressure. But again, Taylor Heinicke should trust himself a little bit more and understand that he can step up in the pocket. And that's the part that we're talking about, as opposed to drifting, which allows these guys to pursue him at a better angle versus stepping up where they have to bend the corner again to try to sack him. But as we continue, you'll see at the very top, you had Ricky Seals on the crosser, Curtis Samuel on the crosser. And look at both of them right now. Excuse me, pardon me, my bad, bro. Like that's what they're doing right now. So I'll let it play out and go back, but that's the setup that you have prior to the sack. And you'll see that Curtis Samuel on the crosser eventually runs free, and there is nobody there. Nobody. Right here on this side, you can trust me. I've seen the angles. But on the left side or up there, that's covering Curtis Samuel, because the one person who could have been responsible for that took Antonio Gibson. So Curtis Samuel is open on this crosser and instead gets sacked, fumble, scoop, and score. So we're going to let this play out from start to finish, and you'll just see every element that we spoke on. Scoop and score, Curtis Samuel and Ricky Seals-Jones pauses. And that may just be due to a lack of chemistry. Let me go ahead and pause this. That may just be due to a lack of chemistry and not knowing the depth in which you're supposed to run your route, supposed to run your crosser and things like that. That may be what you saw transpire there against the Dallas Cowboys on that critical fourth down, and ultimately ended up being the deciding factor of the game because Washington lost 27-20. Another instance of a missed opportunity. Now, this is the same play you all will see towards the end of the game, or that you all saw towards the end of the game because we are only looking at Taylor Heincke. Cal Allen threw this ball to DeAndre Carter. I think it was a different concept, but they still had DeAndre Carter on a vertical route, essentially just a fly on the sideline, and Kyle Allen threw a perfect ball that ultimately was dropped by DeAndre Carter. But you have an opportunity here against, I can't see who this is, unfortunately, but you have that opportunity once again. This is a tough throw because not only are you outside the hashes, but you are on the sideline and probably have to probably get to the 40. Get this ball to the 40, if not further, for DeAndre Carter to separate from his defender, in which he's successful in doing. Instead, it was underthrown and it was well behind him. And I don't even think it made it to the 30, to be honest with you. But it's a little grainy. I understand that. And that's, shout out to that Game Pass. You know what I'm saying? But it's whatever. You see that as it plays out. Ball has to get out here to the 40 or something. And it's well underthrown, and DeAndre Carter's upset, rightfully so. But he creates the separation, and it's another missed opportunity that could have went for a touchdown had DeAndre Carter had that opportunity. But more importantly, if he caught it, because we saw later in the game, he wasn't able to catch it. So another missed opportunity based on Heinicke's inconsistent accuracy throughout the day, and that's kind of what you get from a situation like Taylor Heincke. And as I mentioned, inconsistent accuracy, I did insert a quick clip that kind of highlights or emphasizes what I mean by inconsistent accuracy, right? Early in the game, I think this is their first drive, Washington's first drive, in response to Dallas going up 3-0 against the Washington football team. These guys run a simple with Adam Humphrey. Shout out to Adam Humphrey, who has been an unsung hero for the Washington football team's offense. A lot of people really didn't respect him because he doesn't put up elite numbers, but he's just a guy who moves the sticks. And you can never take that away from a player, right? But back to this thing, because I talked about Adam last week against the Raiders. He just runs a simple out route, a good setup, inside release, gets under the defender, breaks out, boom. Taylor Heinicke connects, first down, moves the sticks. The reason why that is an issue isn't because he completed the pass, it's because he had another look later. I think it was the same drive, if not the next drive, in which he had a play action look to Curtis Samuel, in which Curtis Samuel had a free release. And the defender was essentially sending anything inside. So with the free release and him sending anything inside, and he played the sideline, Curtis Samuel still beats him anyway because his hips were in a terrible position to defend the sideline. So he's beat. It's an easy money throw. And look where the ball is. A ball that's supposed to be, let's go ahead and. A ball that's supposed to be beyond the 50 and very catchable ends up being below the 50 and not even close to Curtis Samuel. Another instance of where Curtis Samuel, I don't blame you if you're frustrated. It has not been a good outing for you or a good start to your career in Washington, unfortunately. due to injury, but also due to the fact that you are not able to get on the same page with your quarterback, at least of lately. And I'm sure that's pretty frustrating for you as a receiver that's trying to make an imprint in this offense and make an impact for this offense. All right, I told you all we'll circle back to the missed opportunities and pressing down the line, and here we are. We're circling back. So I'm not entirely too certain what coverage Dallas was running here, but Cam Sims, I'm a huge fan of. So I will never knock opportunities that Cam Sims gets in the passing game. However, I will knock an opportunity if you throw it to him with 4 defenders surrounding him. That's just irresponsible. So we're going to go ahead and show the play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I said 4. There's 5 defenders surrounding him, and he's just running a deep dig, and Heinicke's trying to fit it in that small pocket, which is just unfortunate, right? But in case you didn't see it, or you saw it already, good for you if you did see it. In case you didn't see it, Terry McLaurin is streaking up the sideline. He's already up the sideline, hands in the air. Heinicke has the ball. Instead, he's keying in on Cam Sims, who is covered right now, who has 3 defenders, a triangle in the area in which he will be breaking in towards. Heinicke knows where he's breaking. Instead, he risks it. He risks it anyway. I don't know if it's risks. I can't say that, but he risks it anyway and throws it. However, when we talk about pressing and missed opportunities combined, this is that one play where he pressed it and had a missed opportunity. And what's crazy is Taylor Heinicke is the guy that he stares down all the time, and he missed it. Wide open. It's unfortunate, but that's kind of what you saw from Taylor Heinicke all day. This play, we all know this one as well, is the tipped interception from Gregory. And it's unfortunate because in this instance, you just picked off Dak Prescott, Landon Collins did, and you're in prime position to really take the lead against the Dallas Cowboys. And we'll run it and just understand that the blocking setup, that's all you need to see right now. We know what happened right here with the pick, the tipped in the pick. But the blocking setup, it's perfect. You got the left guard and the tackle crashing to take on Trayvon Diggs. Trayvon Diggs he's running full force and he's about to fight a losing battle. It's nothing but green for DeAndre Carter to take this screen. As you see the mouse take the screen inside of the tackle and the guard and go out because there's nobody out there who can catch him. DeAndre Carter's a 4-3 guy. This gets executed. It's a house call. Instead, it's tipped twice and picked off. Let's go ahead and run it back a little bit more. It was tipped right here with this guy. I don't know his name. Tipped and then tipped again with Gregory, who bats it in the air and picks it off. Saves the Dallas Cowboys defense after Dak Prescott throws an interception on the drive prior. That wraps it up for this Chopper Dive film session. My opinion this week is that Taylor had his worst game at the worst time for Washington. Last week I told people that even though Taylor Heinicke was under pressure for majority of the game, his aggressive play style against Vegas nearly cost Washington the game. I mean, at the very last drive, the Raiders dropped the pick to seal the game for them. Fortunately for Washington, it was a drop pick and they were able to kick the game-winning field goal against the Raiders to propel them to 6-6. This week, his aggressive play style and outright ineffectiveness at the quarterback position was a key contributor to the loss against the Dallas Cowboys. So I had also said last week that Dallas would present a major challenge for Washington and Taylor Heinicke specifically because they're one of the more opportunistic defenses in the league. And his urges to quote unquote win it for your team is something that needed to be under control against the Dallas Cowboys. He turned it over twice, and the hero ball ultimately failed Washington and ultimately failed Taylor Heinicke and let his team down. And while hero ball is sometimes needed, the ultimate gift of a quarterback who has that trait, who possesses that trait, is it's just knowing when it is needed and knowing when you need to manage the game. So let me know what you think about Taylor. Let me know what you think about the offense. Let me know what you think about the field breakdown in general if you have an opinion on it in the comment section, man. And if you are not subscribed to this point, you like the content and things like that, do us a favor, or do me a favor, and go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Help us out as we continue to grow on the Shop and Dive podcast channel. So with that being said, I'm out of here, and until next time, peace.